councillors are here, the Speaker of the House is here, the Reverend Niall is here.
Thank you. Well, we have many good friendships here. I've just returned 2 large saucepans which you provided soup for our night shelter last night. So that's one of the ways in which we're very grateful to you and which we want to keep our friendships like that. So very nice to see you as well. Nice to do so. Nice to meet you. Hello. How are you? Thank you. I feel very welcome. Hi. Nice to see you. Nice to be here. Lovely.
Abraham Jacobson, the Councillor in the King's Ward. Hackney, probably most diverse ward in Europe. That's one very large Muslim community. We work very hard together. Nice to meet you.
Sales from Stamford Hill.
See you here. Nice to meet you, Councillor.
Hello, Aziziye Mosque.
How are you?
Sorry. Hello. Thank you very much. You're very welcome.
Can I have everyone over here, please, to me? One more. And last one.
Sharon Patrick. Hello, nice to meet you, sir. Hello, nice to meet you.
During Ramadan, we are working man.
Yes, yes.
Remember.
I do.
I remember you very good.
Hello, Sharon.
Hello.
How are you? Nice to see you.
Nice to see you again.
Abi niye bozdun şeyi?
Stand together and show solidarity with those in Paris. I'd like to thank Reverend Niall for being here from St Paul's West Hackney, the Imam of Aziziye Mosque, Councillor Abraham Jacobson, representing the Jewish community and also here as a councillor, other councillors, His Excellency, the Ambassador of Turkey and the Consul General of Turkey. What we'll start doing is have short speeches for 1 minute each, because I know you want to probably get down to eating your food as well. Some of our guests won't be able to stay here too long, but what I will start doing is introducing each one by one. But before that, I just want to send a strong message out to the people here. As a young person myself, I've grown up in Hackney all my life, and one of the special things about Hackney is that I've met many lifelong friends of people who are from all parts of the world, and one of the things that we have is that, as an example to the rest of the world, not just the other boroughs in London, is that we have a strong community cohesion and togetherness. And it's important that we stand strong and we stand in solidarity with those in Paris, in Nigeria and in other parts of the world. And the best message that we can give to terrorists is that we stand strong, and also we will live our day however we live normally as well, and we won't come to the games. So if I could first invite the Ambassador of Turkey, His Excellency, to give a short speech. Thank you.
Distinguished guests, 16 days ago we entered a new year with hopes and good feelings. However, the first 2 weeks of this year brought bad news from different corners of the world. The terrorist attacks perpetrated in Paris against the Charlie Hebdo satirical magazine resulted in the death of 12 innocent persons. Soon afterwards, 4 people were killed in a kosher supermarket in East Paris. Around the same time, we heard terrible news from Nigeria as terrorists stormed a fishing town and began a massacre. The human tragedy in Syria and Iraq is continuing too. The civilians in Syria are trapped between Daesh terrorists who know no limit for violence and cruelty and the regime forces. The innocent people of Iraq are witnessing the worst-case scenario of a sectarian divide. These attacks are demonstrating the savage character of those who have adopted violence as a means to preserve and disseminate their views and notions. We strongly condemn the heinous terrorist attacks. We label any ideology which sees killing people as a legitimate means to reach its targets. Turkey, who lost tens of thousands of civilians, teachers, doctors, diplomats, and military personnel to the scourge of terrorism since 1975, wholeheartedly sympathizes and shares the grief of those who lost their loved ones. Their pain is our pain. Just moments ago, we sent our prayers to those who lost their lives. Islam is a religion of peace and envisages respect towards the creation of God, including all human beings. Tonight, we as the Turkish Embassy will organize an evening of ceremony in Cathedral Hall with whirling dervishes, a Mevlevi tradition established by the 13th century Turkish scholar, poet, and mystic Mevlana Celaleddin Rumi. We will remember once again that we are from the same God and share the same universal values. Mevlana Celaleddin Rumi quotes, "What strikes the oyster shell does not damage the pearl." The universal values we are defending together can face attacks or strikes. However, we will always stand up for freedom, democracy, human rights, and the rule of law. This year, the United Kingdom will commemorate 800 years of the Magna Carta, which is a Charter of Liberties drafted by the Archbishop of Canterbury. It laid down the first stones for the implemented process towards these universal values. This long journey of human civilization went through many challenges and settlements. We experienced inquisitions, the Holocaust, religious and ethnic stripes. All of them contradict with the essence and message of the religions. Violence and terrorism have no religion. They don't have a nationality or any value that they can represent. The perpetrators of terrorist attacks grossly betrayed the religion that they claim to belong. We sincerely hope that the attacks in France will not give ground to Islamophobic, racist, and xenophobic charges. Dear guests, this year we will observe the 5th International Day of Commemoration in memory of the victims of the Holocaust in less than 2 weeks on 27 January. The idea of anti-Semitism led to the death of millions of people. They were killed just for one reason. They were Jewish. The day of commemoration is an opportunity to rethink and draw lessons what racism and xenophobia can be. A public event will be held in Turkey with high-level participation. It is our duty to take resolute and firm measures to prevent all kinds of racism. The atmosphere of mutual distrust, fear, and polarization prevalent in recent years has been exploited by a number of circles. Therefore, we believe in the necessity to combat Islamophobia, as well as racism, discrimination, xenophobia, anti-Semitism, and all kinds of extremism. We should emphasize that neither Islam nor any religion can be spelled together with terrorism and extremism. We should have courage, like the survivors and victims' families, to stand up and carry on, no matter how difficult the day. Unless peace, frankness, and harmony coexist among all nations, no one nation can have peace, no matter how hard it tries. With Mustafa Kemal Atatürk's words, the whole of humanity should be regarded as a single body, and the different nations as organs of that body. The pain at the tip of the finger affects all the other organs. If there is a disturbance in some far corner of the world, we should not say, "Should I care?" We should be as concerned as if it were in our own country. As the Turkish ambassador in London, I am glad that the Turkish community felt that way and organized this significant event. The United Kingdom has a very successful multi-ethnic and multi-faith democracy. The social and cultural participation of Turkish communities in the UK to British life becomes more visible each and every year. I think it's an asset for the United Kingdom to host such a community which praises harmony and shows real solidarity with victims regardless of their faith or ethnicity. I thank the organizers and express my gratitude for the chance given to me to speak to such a distinguished audience. Dear participants, may God bless the memory of those who passed away due to the heinous attacks. May God comfort you and your families. Thank you.
To what the ambassador has said, civic leader of Hackney, I think it shows how well, what a showcase Hackney is, that we are here today that the representatives of the three main religions in Hackney, the Muslims, the Christians and the Jews, are here today to send their condolences to the people of Paris, to the people of Nigeria and everywhere else in this world where people are being murdered in the name of terrorism. What happened in Paris and what is happening in Nigeria is unacceptable in this world, and we have to stand up to these terrorists. People have been murdered for their right to speak their own mind, which, as the Ambassador said, in this country we've had for a very long while the freedom to speak our own mind, even if it's unpleasant to somebody else. I'm not saying that you should try and be unpleasant to somebody else, but people do have the right to speak their own mind. So I'd like to thank everybody here today for coming, and I do think that this is, as I said, a showcase of good community relations, which we do have here in Hackney. And I hope that it will long continue, the good community relations, and if we could put it in a bottle and bottle it and send it around the world, I think that would be a very good thing. But unfortunately we can't do that, but we can just lead by example of us all being here today to send our condolences to Paris and Nigeria and everywhere else that people are being murdered in the name of religion. Thank you very much.
If I can invite Reverend Niall Weir from West Hackney.
Your Excellency, Madam Speaker, Mehmet, and good friends. First of all, thank you so much for your welcome here today. Your hospitality has been warm and lavish, and it's lovely to be on the receiving end of it. I have been Rector of St Paul's West Hackney for 12 years, and I'm very pleased to be here today to represent not just the Church of England in Hackney, but also the wider Christian community. And so I bring you greetings from that community and from Richard, our Bishop of London, and from Adrian, our Bishop here in Stepney. I have many good reasons for wanting to live a long time in Hackney, and one of them has been how much I have learnt over the last 12 years about living together in diversity and learning from that and indeed celebrating it. My children have been brought up in Hackney, and there are many things I wish for them, but I wish for them to be people of big hearts, people who are generous, and people who embrace diversity, and people who understand what a privilege it is to live in a diverse community such as Hackney. So I'm deeply grateful to Hackney for the opportunity that they have to grow up in such a world. Living in Hackney has changed me greatly. I hope I'm wiser and a better person for being here. And there are many reasons for that, not least some of the friendships that I've formed over the past 12 years. And precious to me is the friendships that we've established with the community here at Aziziye Mosque. I think probably meeting my dear friend Mutter, if I was going to call you Councillor Mutter, but let's just call you Mutter for the time being. And over the last few years we've embarked upon many initiatives together. We worked together on a homeless project in our church, where every week this mosque provides quite the most delicious soup I've ever eaten in my life that we can share with people who don't have a home and don't have something to eat. And so that is a wonderful opportunity to say to the world that we stand together in the face of all of these things. I suspect that probably one of the motives of those behind the terrible things that have happened in Paris and in Nigeria has been that they hope that they would divide people of peace. They will be disappointed because I think that in fact what has happened is that the bonds that exist between people of peace have in fact been strengthened by this. So I'm very sorry, but you failed. We stand stronger together, and it just gives us an opportunity to realise what a wonderful, diverse world we live in, and how when we work together and respect one another, we turn the world into a better place. We are still in what we call in the Christian world a season of Epiphany, whereby we not only celebrate the birth of Jesus as the Prince of Peace, but we hear his story as he went out into the world to preach peace. And one of the things that he invited us to do was to follow his example, because there won't be peace in the world unless we go out and do something about it. So I say to people of violence, we're terribly sorry, but you have not succeeded in separating us. In fact, you have made us even stronger. So I'm delighted to be here today amongst some new friends and also amongst some old friends. Once again, I'm deeply grateful, but not at all surprised by the lovely hospitality that we've received here today. And so, thank you all very much. Gentlemen and ladies of the press, it's your responsibility to bottle this stuff and to take it and to show it all around the world. So I thank you for your part in this mission today. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you so very much indeed.
If I can invite Councillor Abraham Jacobson from Kayiskanat Ward. Thank you.
Actually, I'm very much in awe. I'm right next to the Excellency Ambassador of Turkey. It's very apt that we have the Ambassador of Turkey here, because Turkey is the country where I'd say all the three main large religions came from. My ancestor Abraham was born in Turkey. Christianity, is basically a continuation of Judaism, and obviously Islam has got very big major roots in Turkey. Turkey is one place in the world where there's been a Jewish community. There's a strong Jewish community today. In what used to be called Constantinople and Istanbul, there was a major Jewish community where all the major rabbis as one big thriving centre for Judaism. Today there is a strong Jewish community. My work colleague was there actually a few years ago, and he mentioned about the Jewish community. Got kosher restaurants there. And it's interesting, they live there, happiness, peace and safety, and they're respected amongst everybody. Speaking from I live in the Kayiskanat ward. I've been living the last 23 years there. It's very noticeable. It's probably the most ethnically diverse area in Europe. Very, very large Jewish community, massive Muslim community. You've got a big Christian community as well. Several churches there. You've got people of all races, religions, colours and creeds. We differ. We disagree. But we disagree with dignity. The previous Chief Rabbi, Lord Sachs, wrote a book. It's called Difference with a Dignity. You can agree to disagree. You can disagree in a nice way. We're all the same here. We're all human beings. We all, disagree on certain things. It might be different types of eyeglasses, different types of shoes. We prefer different types of foods. We prefer different types of relaxations. But we can disagree with dignity. Unfortunately, we have in the world now, you've got people who don't know how to disagree. And that is where the problem is. Fortunately, where I live in Kayiskanat, I think, in Hackney, the ethnic communities do get on. We have the lowest crime in Hackney, where you have a high ethnic mix. When we had unfortunate killing with Lee Rigby, we called a meeting with the Jewish community and the Muslim community, the Shomrim, which basically is like neighbourhoods, watch patrol group, etc. To get a meeting, it took us 10 minutes. it went viral. John Carey mentioned about the meeting. What went on was no big deal. The Shaman liaised with the police, and we helped them with the security arrangements. It shows what mere mortal people like myself, you know, just a new councillor, what can be done. But we should stand up and say, yes, we can agree, but we can disagree civilly. And what I give a blessing for everybody here, that Hackney should be the beacon of light to the world, where it's a multicultural melting pot, where we can all agree to disagree civilly and get on and be friends. Thank you very much. And thank you very, very much for the kind hospitality.
I'd like to invite Imam to a short speech as well.
Öncelikle katılımlarından dolayı bütün katılımcılara ayrı ayrı teşekkür ediyorum. İslam dini barış dinidir. Müslümanlar olarak teröre dayalı hiçbir eylemi tasvip etmemiz mümkün değildir. Bu saldırı, İslam'ın ve yüce dine mensup Müslümanların bizzat kendisine doğrudan yapılmış bir saldırıdır. İslam peygamberi Hz. Muhammed sallallahu aleyhi ve sellemin adının kullanılarak bir intikam duygusuyla yapıldığı söylenen bu katliam, aslında Hz. Muhammed'in bütün insanlığa kazandırdığı yüce değerleri yok etmeye yönelik açık bir saldırıdır. Bu saldırı ve bu katliam, İslam'ın ve bu yüce dine mensup Müslümanların kendisine doğrudan yapılmış bir saldırıdır. Biz böyle görüyoruz. Hiçbir kimse ve hiçbir Müslüman ifade özgürlüğünü istismar ederek Hz. Peygamber'e karşı yapılan saygısız ve seviyesiz düşüncelere karşı onun tasvip etmeyeceği bir şekilde, onun tasvip etmeyeceği yöntemlerle karşılık veremez. Bu İslam'ın öğretisine terstir. Biz yapılan saldırıyı, yapılan bu katliamı İslam camiası olarak, Müslümanlar olarak kabul etmiyoruz, içimize sindirmiyoruz. Katılımlarınızdan dolayı ayrıyeten tekrar teşekkür ediyoruz. Thank you so much.
I will just translate what he said for those who are making notes in English language. Imam Mehmet has said, I'd like to welcome all those who attended this gathering. And on behalf of Muslims, I'd like to say, as Muslims, we would never condemn such attacks in the name of Islam, because Islam has always been and always will be a religion of peace. And this is like an attack on Muslims, and using the name of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ and labeling attacks, calling it was done in his name as a revenge, is not acceptable, and it's not accepted by us. This is an attack on Islam and the values that the Prophet Muhammad has been teaching us. There may be those who may dislike our Prophet, and it may be disrespectful to our understanding, and they may dislike what his message is. But it does not give anybody any justification to conduct such an attack on his behalf, and he would condemn such a behavior, and as a religion of peace, we would condemn such an act itself. Thank you very much, and thank you for coming.
And finally as well, I'd like to invite Chief Inspector after your speech.
On behalf of the Borough Commander, Chief Superintendent Simon Lawrence, thank you very much for your invitation today. It's humbling to be part of a group of representatives from 3 different religious communities and the Ambassador from Turkey to be part of that group, sending a wider message to the community of Hackney, of London, of the UK, of the world, that we do all stand together. It's a privilege for me to serve in the police and work with people like this, representing the communities, keeping you all safe. So thank you very much. I'm humbled every day when I see how closely people work together in Hackney, how the communities talk. As we say, disagree with dignity. We can all disagree, it's how we deal with that. And when I see how people do that in Hackney, and I've worked across London, it stands out for me as one of the most cohesive, closely bonded communities where we all, I think, share the same aim of getting on together and living together in peace and harmony. So once again, thank you very much. It is a privilege to be here today.
I'd like to thank you all for being patient, and thank you for all the distinguished guests again for doing the speeches. I'd also like to give a special thank you to 2 very important people And this event is not, of course, you know, I might be here hosting it, but this event is organised by the community itself. And those people are Mr. Osman Jinik and Mr. Nuri Bulgurju, which has been a resident in this area for many years, over 20 years, and have contributed to the local community in terms of business, in terms of social relations as well. And today would have never happened if they never put their work into so. And please enjoy the food. I've got anything. Thank you.